Hello, everyone, and welcome to our little corner of the internet where we talk about fountain pens, inks, journals, and journaling, and just about anything and everything that will keep you inspired. Welcome, everyone. Special welcome to the members of the channel. Thank you so much, guys, for being here. You all keep the lights on, keep me motivated, and keep things rolling. Thank you very much for that. Excuse me. If you'd like to be a member of this channel, you can certainly join. And right now, we are doing a pen pal exchange, a letter exchange, which is super fun. We're doing it with me and then also amongst all the Cognoscenti and Illuminati members. So it's super fun. And along those lines, I'll show you guys something. Now, the one thing, I don't want to call it a negative because it's really kind of cool. I've been buying a lot of stationery and it's been sitting around and I've sort of used it as backdrops in different videos. Sometimes I show a pen in front of a piece of stationery or something. You'll see that in my B-roll. But I had all this stationery and I wasn't necessarily using it all. And doing this pen pal letter exchange, I pretty much have cleaned out a lot of my stationery. So I'm starting to pick up some new stuff to make up the gaps. So you guys will see this coming your way. Pen pals, I picked this up. It's rather lovely. I imagine it's made in Florence. It just says it's made in Italy, but usually this kind of stuff is from Florence. I love stationery that's a bit over the top, just a little bit extravagant, especially if it has a bit of old world excessiveness to it or vintage feel. And this definitely ticks a lot of those boxes. So right away, wouldn't this be nice if it had like a monogram or something on it? But not expensive, by the way. This stuff is very affordable. I think it's around $18 for 20 different envelopes and papers. So here's the inside of the envelope. A little bit of gold there. Very Medici-esque, if you will. But plenty of room for your return address and for whichever Illuminati or Cognoscenti member I'm sending this to. And then I think I have to show you what the pages look like. I mean, I just think this is super fun, guys. This is really what keeps me interested in pens and journaling, in using fun stationery. I mean, look at this. It's slightly ornate, but it's really fun. So you can fill up all this space and imagine oxblood or the Scribo Rosso Chianti ink. And you can write in the back too. I've already written a couple letters on this. It's only mild ghosting, and it's got a nice finish. I wouldn't say it's like the greatest paper in the world, but it's really nice, and it's really fun. I think it's really pretty. I see Judy Anderson's digging it. Hi, Judy. I hope you're feeling better. I know you were sick the last time we spoke, so I hope you're feeling better. But I like all this flower work, the gold accents. You know what would look really good with this? And tell me if I'm wrong. The Gerbon Club de Chypre ink with the brown base and the gold shimmer. Wouldn't that look absolutely brilliant in here? See, now I need to put that in one of my pens and do one of my pen pal letters to you guys this way. So, yeah, we've seen a lot of new members. Very pleased to have you all. Always like writing letters. I always make time for it. I find it as therapeutic as journaling. There's something really nice about sitting down and writing a letter. And I'd say there's maybe a little bit more of a challenge to it when you don't really know someone yet, where your letter is sort of introducing yourself, and I always thank them for joining the channel. And I try to tell them a little bit about myself, something original, something that I don't talk about on the channel, so that it's a little bit more interesting for them, and it's also a great way to get to know each other. So I might tell a story about traveling to Venice or something. And it's super fun and super meditative, and it gets you in that space, gives you that sense of calm that you get from journaling. And I do have my journal handy. These days, I'm journaling in this Bottega Obscura journal that was a gift from the owner of Bottega Obscura. He's got my initials and this lovely gold. I know a lot of you guys have seen this, but I'm sure there's some people who haven't. So I just thought I'd share it real quick. But I love journals that look as if they were pulled off the shelves of a medieval monastery. So super fun journal here. And to those of you that are saying that it's a bit of pressure to write in a journal like this, and it doesn't have lines, and I'm about this far in, guys. So not too far in, because there's a lot of real estate to cover. And I started this in November 27th. So I haven't gone too far. This far, okay? But let me tell you, I wish I could show you, but I filmed this in 4K, so I should actually be careful, because you guys can read this if I screenshot it, or if you screenshot it, rather. I really went off the lines. One page is so awful. It goes up, it goes down. Oh, it kills me. It kills me. But I did it. And I'm moving on. I turn the page and I'm just writing my way through it. Matter of fact, that's not a bad slogan for us. What do you guys think? Write your way through it. You have a problem, write your way through it. If you're slightly embarrassed about something you did, write your way through it. I like that. I'm going to develop that, I think. I'll put that on my merch if I ever have merch. Can you imagine? So, yes, thanks, guys. Love the whole pen pal thing. Having a lot of fun with it. Maybe I'm having more fun with it than you guys are. I don't know. I hope you're having fun too, but I'm definitely having a good time with it. A couple things I want to mention. I'd like to make an appeal to anyone who's enjoying my channel, watching, and hasn't subscribed. I'm a teeny tiny channel here on YouTube, and YouTube does not help me push my videos. And it would be nice to get them out to more people. It's a little heartbreaking when I make a video I love and only like a few hundred people see it. It would be nice to share it with a larger audience. So it would be great if you would subscribe. I don't think I'm too annoying a person to follow. Oh yeah, I make videos a couple times a week, and they're generally about writing, journaling. And the whole idea is to keep you inspired so you're doing these things. And we can share these experiences together. I talk with you guys a lot in the comments, and if you're a member of the channel, you get a fun pen pal exchange with me as well. So that's my sales pitch. Let's get into some other stuff. So John Manuel is saying that he loves the pen pal thing. Me too. And I saw your email. I did email you. I hope you got that. So just so you guys know it. Benjo Markland says, I write my way through it daily. I really like that phrase. I really do. I just think it's sort of simple, but it says a lot, especially if you know the point of view of this channel. So I'm kind of digging it. So guys, I got a package today, and I often get packages, and sometimes I don't even know what's in there. Sometimes it's stuff I bought and I forgot about, and other times it's things that people send me and whatnot. I really don't know. So this time I opened it up and I got this, and I haven't taken the plastic off yet because I want to show you guys what it is. Do you guys know what this is? So it's the Jinhao X159 in blue. So let's call this Take Two. Obviously, haven't opened it yet, haven't inked it. I want to see if it's any better than the first iteration was. So if you remember, what was it, 2 months ago, I did a review of this. I have a maroon one, and it was complete rubbish out of the package, to be honest. One of the scratchiest pens I've ever used. But then I worked on it. I did the kind of paper bag trick. Are you guys familiar with the paper bag trick? I really don't know if the paper bag trick really works. I think if anything, you should probably use the sharpening stone trick, but I really don't necessarily recommend either. But the idea behind the paper bag trick And I'm not recommending this. I'm just telling you it. You got to make your own decisions about these things, but we all resort to desperate measures sometimes when we get a pen that we want to use. It's not really working correctly. So the idea is that a paper bag is a bit coarse, and that maybe somehow by writing on it, you're going to take a burr off of a pen that's really scratchy. Now, personally, I think in reality, is it really coarse enough to take a pen down in a couple minutes? I don't really think so, unless it's extremely soft metal. And these stainless steel nibs, although I think this says it's 18 karat gold, maybe it's coated with it. Maybe it is. I don't know. But anyway, unless it's a very soft metal, I don't think that's working. Now, a sharpening stone, to me, sounds too extreme. Maybe there's something in between a sharpening stone and a paper bag. But you certainly want to get the scratchiness out of some nibs. Now, you also sometimes have to do a little pressure on the nib to open it up, as I did with this. So I guess I'm just excited, to see whether or not this will write well out of the bag a second time. Because I would love to recommend this to beginners, because I love the dimensions of it. I like the finish of it. I'm not crazy about the seam that runs down it, but I mean, what are you going to do? But Jinhao, I think, has one of the most beautiful nibs. I love their symbol. And I think this is so much better than the 159 that they should have named it something else rather than making it a new iteration of it. They should have just called this the 169 or something. I don't know. Some number they haven't used. So kind of excited. Should probably stop playing with it because that crinkling noise is probably not pleasant. So there we go. So that's a future video coming up right here that I haven't filmed yet. But you'll see that, I imagine, within the next month and a half by the time I get around to it. So super exciting. Let's see what's going on in the comments. So, okay, I see you guys are talking about the whole pen pal situation, which is super fun. Sextus is here. Oh, Wolverine's here. Hello. So Wolverine says, don't use a whetstone. Well, I should say, I wasn't recommending really using a whetstone. I'm just making the point that if it's a hard metal, that you really would need a whetstone. I mean, I'm not really recommending that you do anything. I mean, scratchy nibs are kind of tough to deal with. I mean, you can use something coarse and, polish it down, but I don't know, man. A lot of times it's the tines that are out of alignment, but that's why I have this too. So I always check, make sure the tines look okay. Should we check them? You want to check them? I'm just curious. So I don't know. I mean, I guess at the point where you feel you have to do something, should I save opening this for the video? I guess I could use this footage in the video. So at the point where you have to check, you have to do that much work, sometimes it's just not worth it. That's kind of where I come from. But on my other one, I did use paper bag for like a little bit. Oh, this lid actually looks tight. Yeah, this is nice. It's like, see, I have my other monitor over here with my show notes. So it's in silhouette against it. Well, I guess it's not a silhouette because I can make it out, but I could definitely see if it were out of alignment. And it's tight. It's perfectly aligned. And looks pretty good. Let me see about. It's a little crooked, but I mean, any pen can be crooked. So I don't know. I think we might have a winner here, guys. So any nib work you do, I say do it at your own risk. I think it's best left to a trained professional. I hate to use the phrase I'm about to use, because I personally feel that what's good for a $6 pen is good for a $600 pen, but it is only a $6 pen. So, and that was with shipping. I think this was like $3 and change and then $3 in shipping. So this is a very affordable option. So I'm excited, guys. I want to like Jinhao. I want to have good experiences with them. And I've had terrible experiences with them. My 450 is rubbish. My 159 is not very good. So I'm really hoping, guys, because I want to like them. Dave Terry says, I love the cigar shape and the color of the maroon X159. It posts well. Dave, that's a great point. I mean, one of the things I really loved about that pen, and still love it because I have it, is that it's that great maroon or burgundy color. A few years back, I don't remember how long, but Montblanc had a burgundy 149, and I really wish I had bought it because that's one of my favorite colors in anything, not just in pens, in inks, in shoes or leather or what have you. I really love maroon and burgundy. So yes, I'm with you there, my friend. So Dave has very good luck with his. I'll put this comment up for you, my friend. I just want to be fair. I want to be fair to the brand. And that's why, like, I want you guys to see Dave's comment. And I'm only talking about my personal experience. That's the only thing I can tell you guys on this channel. The only way for me to be consistent and be honest and straightforward is to just relay how I feel and how I've been experiencing things, you know? And aesthetically, I really like Jinhao. I really like the idea of it too. I've always been a big fan of Hero pens. My wife has a Hero pen that is gorgeous. It's just so cool. I'll have to show that. I need to make a note that I need to bring that on the live show. My wife has a very awesome but very small pen collection. She's got this Hero vintage pen that looks like Chinese porcelain. It's so cool. She has a Pilot Vanishing Point in the carbon blue. She has a TWSBI VAC 700R iris with a cursive italic nib. She has a Lamy Safari. So really solid choices for a small collection. That's a future video I want to do too, would be like the perfect 5-pen collection. So that is my my goal soon. All right, this is kind of a big comment. I'm not sure if you can see it from Vermilion Tea. Sometimes with at least 5 nibs from China, you can fix it by pressing down hard while writing sideways and rotating it slightly back and forth. That's similar to what I do. I'm just going to tell you. If I get a nib that's not very nice, I'll use my fingers as tines. So I sort of press and then I just rock it slowly back and forth. And then I let up and then I try it. And then I just press a little bit. Now, one of the things I wonder about, and this is the title of a video that's coming up, I wonder whether some nibs are set for heavier hands. I'm wondering if there's so much Bic pen users to fountain pen users that maybe nibs are starting to have sort of tighter tines and more of a need to press, because I see that sometimes and it's discouraging because I always write with the weight of the pen. Rather than feeling that I'm writing, I feel more like I am steering a pen across the page. And it's the weight of it that drives the nib. And I like to play with that weight even, where I'm taking weight off to get a fainter line. And then I'm letting it rest a bit more to get more of a regular line. Now, I do suffer a bit that it makes my handwriting a little bit more wobbly than it should. But unless I have a flex nib, I don't press. And I wonder whether some modern pen companies are assuming that people do, and they're setting their nibs accordingly. I have no evidence to back this up. It's just a theory because I wonder whether the Jinhao might be made thinking that people are going to press more than experienced fountain pen users. And all of this is a generalization. It's a theory. It's a Hemingway Jones theory. Does it hold up to scrutiny? We'll have to check. We'll have to check, my friends. So, I recently did something I do probably far more than you would imagine, or maybe not. I went back through some of my journals. And I think what's interesting about a journal and about journaling in general, I mean, there's many things interesting, as we've discussed and will discuss. But I think one of the most amazing parts of journaling is that if you use it to describe your life and to describe your opinions and your conversation that you have with the world, with yourself, with your own insecurities, with your aspirations, your fears, all of that, if that inner monologue is transcribed to paper, it's like the time machine on a Mac computer, if you've ever used that. So if you have your Mac set up to automatically back itself up, and maybe PCs work the same way, but I'm more of an Apple user, so I'm going to use this analogy. The time machine, you can enter it and go into folders as they appeared at certain times and certain days, going back, in some cases, many months or years, perhaps. So journaling is a bit like that, where you're describing yourself as a full person, and that iteration truly no longer exists at some point. So I went back and was reading my journals from around the year 2000. Now, a lot was going on then. That was obviously just after the turn of the millennium. And we all sort of had that fatalism. And I think the fatalism was translated as carpe diem, almost. There was a bit of, eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow ye shall die about it. And that's sort of our gallows humor mindset at that time. But me as a person and who I was then bears such little resemblance to who I am now that I wonder whether I were to interact with someone I knew then and no longer know, if they would recognize me. I barely recognize myself. It's almost like taking a vacation in your own mind when you read these old journals. And I'm going to give you some for instances, but I can't be specific because I do like to keep the focus on this channel on personal growth and on journaling and things, and away from some outside influences like politics, religion, and that kind of stuff. I'm only going to speak about it in the fact that I had some beliefs then in regards, Gino says Y2K overhype. It sure was, but a lot of people didn't know it at the time. I had certain political beliefs. I had certain religious beliefs. I had certain beliefs about myself, certain beliefs about other people and how I interacted with them. I am almost completely different than I was. And it's almost slightly alienating to read about myself back then. It's really kind of interesting and strange that you could change so much. Now, part of, I think, what does that is that as you journal, you question things about yourself. and you question your interactions, and then you extend that further. One of the most powerful things that has helped me as a person, and I've mentioned this on the channel before, but I'll mention it again. It's in any and every situation, I ask myself, could I be wrong here? Or what am I doing wrong? So it's sort of taking some responsibility, or at least taking the perception that there could be responsibility on yourself, so that you're not pushing it away like it's not my fault, or, that was terrible, but, that person did those things to me, they deserve it. So, what did I do? I brought this into my life. At what point am I culpable? That kind of thing. I think it's very powerful if you consider that. However, it can be very transformative as you then extend that to the rest of your life. Some things you don't question from the time you're a child. So suddenly you're a mature adult and you're able to make your independent decisions, and you still are doing and believing the things that you were taught as a child, whatever that is. And then you ask yourself, am I wrong? And you go on this quest for truth. And by the time you get to the end, you're transformed. And I only now, in this instance, just realized something. And I hope I'm not losing you here, but I just realized that's the hero's journey, right? That's the Joseph Campbell's hero journey, that you take up the quest, and there are people that help you along the way. And it's really a quest for truth and for knowledge. And to achieve it, you always have to get to know yourself, and you have to accept what is good and what is bad about yourself, and sort of become actualized. And then at the end, you're wholly transformed, and you no longer recognize the person you were. And if you want the easy example to that, and it's the one that everyone uses, and it's the one that fits it perfectly, because George Lucas used Joseph Campbell, the hero with 1,000 faces, just up here on my shelves somewhere, as a template for Star Wars. So Star Wars is the perfect expression of that, but it's a story we've seen over and over again. So I just realized that it does, and Campbell talks about this, that it applies to our lives as people, that we enter upon a journey. And if we confront hard truths, and we learn and we develop ourselves as a person, and we develop our character, at the end, we transcend that incomplete soul that we were when we began. So that's pretty interesting, I think. I think it's really interesting because I spent a lot of time thinking about this before the show, because I wanted to be able to speak about it extemporaneously and coherently. But it eluded me that it's that hero's journey that we're all on. So I guess at some point, I'm some point further along that than I was. And it's strange, I guess, being a Jedi and seeing myself back on Tatooine, shooting womp rats in, was it Beggar's Canyon? I might be a little rusty on my Star Wars quotes. So just really interesting, though. Journaling gives you that power to peer back into your mind over several different iterations of yourself as you progress as a person. I think that's really, really interesting. Jim Kerrigan says that through journaling, I discovered things I didn't like about myself, then created a new lifestyle. Yeah, well, I think that's the power, right? I think you have to be honest and tough on yourself without pushing too much on yourself, right? You don't want to go to extremes and blame yourself for everything. But you're certainly not going to make any progress as a person if you're using your journal as a way to assuage responsibility as you go through life, I think. So I I really, I really think it's powerful and transformative. Keel G. Olson, you're at your best when you talk about life and not show off about materials. Yeah, Kjell, and if I'm pronouncing that correctly, if not, forgive me, please. I feel like there's a bit of a contradiction built in my character and this channel because I think any sort of pen channel where we're talking about Montblanc, Visconti, and all this becomes inherently materialistic. And I suppose I am a materialist to the point that I love things. Like, I'm fascinated by this pen. Now, the root of the fascination about this pen is that during the stressful periods of my life, writing with a pen like this, or any of my pens, it doesn't have to be a Visconti, it could be a Twisby, it could be a Jinhao. It's like a little oasis mentally. I have a very stressful job that I love, but it's intense and it has humongous responsibilities. But then somebody brings me some loan docs for me to sign, and I brought this pen to work today. I uncap it. The nib glistens in the light. It feels substantial, but very well balanced in my hands. And then I write with it. And in that moment, I transcend all the stress and everything else. And I can focus on the beauty of the activity. And that might sound crazy, but that's okay. It's one of my coping mechanisms. So I do recognize that the channel and myself are inherently materialistic, but I would prefer you didn't buy another pen. I would prefer that you spent more time with that which you have and poured a nice glass of your favorite beverage and lit a few candles and took out your journal and had some really incredible, transcendent, mindful experiences of your own. That's what I would want. That's what I want for myself. Now, I get a lot of stuff as part of this channel, but I'm not a store. I'm here to tell you about experiences, but I'm not telling you to buy anything because I don't care if you do or don't. But I would like you to know that if you are considering something like this, what the experience is like. And I think it's fun and informative and interesting to learn together because I don't think I know all the answers. I do research, but sometimes things are contradictory and sometimes you learn as you go along. But it's interesting to learn about these things and it's interesting to explore them. But I don't want to fall down a rabbit hole where it's about the next pen. It's not about the next pen for me. I do wonder about some pens that are out there, but I'm thinking about the experience. I'm not thinking about the pen per se. And it might seem like a subtle distinction, but it's an important one because if I get this pen and then a week later I get this pen and I'm saying, I have this pen. Look how cool this makes me. Or I have this, you don't. Or, this pen in reality has very little relationship to me except that we are occupying the same space right now. I didn't make this pen. I didn't design this pen. I happen to own it for a brief time, and then it's going to go probably to my wife or daughter. This pen doesn't make me cool. I make me cool. it's about experiences. It's not about items. The quest is for experiences and for knowledge. Sometimes you have to get something because it's so weird and interesting that you have to know what it's like. But it's never about certain items having some kind of a transformative effect on me. I don't think that would lead to a happy place. It would be a voraciousness, this constant acquisitional fever that somehow another pen is going to take me someplace I'm not already there. So I hope that makes sense. Maybe I went on too much, but I also think I'll say one more thing because I think it's important and it's brief. And that's that it reminds me of an old Clint Eastwood movie. I think it was, I can't remember. Maybe one of you can remember. But he says, a man has to know his own limitations. And I think you should also be aware of your own ironies. At some point, we're all a bit hypocritical, and we all contain ironies. And I'll go back to Whitman again. Like, I contradict myself. Very well, I contradict myself, for I contain multitudes. And so do you. So, I think it's wonderful. And without pens, I wouldn't be able to share with you guys. But my point on the journals is that if you go down this journaling path with your life, you will be transformed. And 20 years from now, you may not believe the same things you believe now. You may not respond to people the same way. With any luck, you'll be happier, healthier, and more centered. More at peace with yourself and with the world. So, I like this from Art Mingle. You will not know the limits until you test them. I like that. Very good. So, I'm missing a lot of your comments. Ooh, Kaylee's here. Hi. Oh, you just stepped in. You are late. Look at you. Not too... Oh, you look at you. You are funny. Yeah, not due till December. So what she's referring to is the fact that for some reason, when I uploaded this, I put it that this live was going to happen in December of 2023, which I fixed this afternoon when I noticed. So would have been nice if somebody had emailed me, but yes. Yes, I think that is very important to say. So very fun. Okay, so I'm trying to keep this to around an hour because that's always the goal, and we still have a lot to talk about. CJ Bauer, Magnum Force, thank you. Thank you. Man's got to know his limitations. Yeah, it's good stuff. So, okay. Couple things I want to show you. I promised that I'd show the bee. Not the bee! No, not the bee! Sorry, couldn't resist. So, you guys familiar with this? It makes a lovely gift, right? It's the Esterbrook Bee. And it's really nice for holding your page if you're reading or if you're journaling. Oh, it says Esterbrook in the back, by the way. Just noticed that. So it comes in a nice gift box. So if you get one, it's a really nice gift box. So what's great about this? I was really happy to have it because it looks really pretty for B-roll. And a lot of my life revolves around B-roll. And it's really great for holding your journal open. You do have to be a little careful when you're setting it in the pages because the legs, if you get paper in between the legs, you can mess up your pages. So you definitely want to make sure when you slide it on that you're going under everything. Like that, as opposed to, maybe if it got in there like that. Do you know what I mean? So just be mindful of that. So It's super great for holding your journal open so you can concentrate on your handwriting. But when I use it the most is to hold open my cookbooks when I'm cooking. It's great for that. Or if you're reading a larger book or an art book, it's really good for that. And it's really beautiful, right? Look at this thing. I mean, it's very well made. So absolutely gorgeous. I got this as a gift from Brian Holzer, which is very, very nice. So it's very, very nice, very useful. I have recently used it in my journal quite a bit. But now if you're saying to yourself, boy, that bee is big. I wish there were a smaller option. There is. There is a smaller option. There's also the nib, which is kind of fun. So this is a bit smaller. So this would probably be better for like trade paperbacks. Very nice. So, and what fountain pen lover doesn't love a nib? So, super nice. Highly recommend them. I think I slightly prefer the bee. But I am glad that I have both. Not the bee. So any other bee lovers out there? It looks like Art Mingle has a bee. Saying that, asking if it's my first bee. It is my first bee. Do you buy multiple bees? Am I behind in my bees? So, it's very nice. That's very noisy. I'm going to get that out of here. So, definitely like those. When is the London Spring Pen Show? Because I might be going to London this spring. We're not sure. We're kind of planning out our year now. Kaylee loves the Esterbrook Bee. Nice. Benjo says, I have the nib. I feel it damages the paper. Yeah, well, I know with the bee, I haven't actually used the nib yet. With the bee, it doesn't damage the paper, but you definitely need to only select certain pages. You don't go too deep and you don't go too shallow. You want enough pages that's going to support it without making it so shallow that the legs start to cut in or wrinkle. If you have a decent amount of paper, it will support it and it will do a great job of holding your book open. I don't know how the nib works because I haven't used it yet. I'm always using the bee, but I'll let you know. Ooh, Garden Goddess Tarot says, I'd love an apiary one day. You know, we're thinking about that. I have enough room here, and I'm thinking in the back of my property, I might start doing that. I like reading, because we're also going to put some fruit trees in. I had to take some trees down. So I'm thinking of replacing them with I have an ancient apple tree. You guys would love my apple tree. It's over 100 years old, and it's all hollow. And by any rights, it probably should have passed long ago, but I still get apples. And really nice apples, decent sized. Some years it just doesn't want to give me anything. But lovely tree. But I'm thinking of doing another one on the other side of the yard so they can cross pollinate and have be a little bit more fruitful, if you will. But the bees would be fantastic, so I'm thinking of putting those in my yard too. So a lot of people are going to London. I'll have to see. Maybe that's something I can swing. I really don't know. I mean, I was thinking about doing more of the pen show circuit. Philadelphia, I think, is coming up this weekend. That's my hometown. The thing that's a little problematic is my daughter gets motion sickness. So it's making travel tough for us. And I have never spent a night apart from my daughter since she was born. And I don't know if I want to start now. So I don't know if I could travel without her. She's so fun. So, okay. So let me bring up another topic for tonight as I keep an eye on the clock. So I don't know about you guys, but I've been kind of impressed with what's coming out of our old friends Montblanc lately. And one of the things about it is that I think for a long time, it was looking like the staid, kind of boring brand that was resting on its laurels, resting on things that it had accomplished in the past, and putting out the occasional special edition pen or writer's edition or what have you, which some of them were really nice and some weren't so much. So that is changing from the way it seems. And it also seems that they're changing their focus from being this pure luxury brand to giving you a bit more value in, or at least redefining their value proposition, right? So generally Montblanc pens on the top tier are around $1,000, anywhere from $925 to $1,000. The special edition stuff tends to be more, and then the Legrand and the Classique are a bit less. So what I feel is that things like the calligraphy curved nib that's coming out shows some really good developments on their part. Sort of like, I don't know if they innovated that nib or if they're just utilizing it. But if you haven't seen it, it's a curved nib where the end of it sort of curves up. And then depending on how you hold the pen, you get a different thickness and writing experience. It goes from an extra fine to a medium to like this crazy curved broad that seems to write in papyrus. If you know papyrus font, it seems to write like that. And then I guess you flip it another way and it does different things. So very cool idea. Very innovative from my perspective, but I don't know if it was developed by another company or they utilized it. But what is true is that their nibs are made by them in-house, and they're now sort of saying, this is what we can do. Now, they've already said that with their flex nibs, which are impressive. Their customization is known to be very good. And now they have this curved nib. Now, I would also add, and especially since you guys are bringing up the Egyptomania, and I see Art Mingle got the Egyptomania, which is a brilliant pen. Congratulations. And it's one of Judy's Grail pens. Fantastic pen. So the Egyptomania is another pen that's still available. I was at their site earlier today, and they still have the Egyptomania in the lineup. It has a very soft nib, it's very smooth, and it's a very interesting writing experience. And the whole pen is manufactured as if it were 100 years ago. It's brilliant. One of my favorites. So Montblanc did that. They are tweaking their lineup. They have the curved calligraphy nib. I feel like in a way they're saying we're here for writers, that we're making an exquisite product that'll give you a tool that is expensive, but you're getting a different value proposition. There's other pens that aren't necessarily all in-house that are $600. There's ones that are in-house $700, whatever. I mean, every value proposition is different. Montblanc has something else that's really interesting, and that is the lessons. They're offering calligraphy lessons too. I often miss them. They had Spencerian writing today, and I'm going to catch the replay. But they do these calligraphy lessons for Spencerian, for copperplate, for modern calligraphy, and you can keep taking these classes as they offer them, and it really That's a lot of value. I don't know how much value, right? So this pen is around $700. It has a lot of unique features. I think this stacks up nicely against the 149. We actually did this on a live 2 weeks ago. But how much value do you put to the lessons? Does that bridge that $200? I don't know. I don't know. You have to make that decision for yourself. Now that I've said all this really nice stuff about it, let me also say that I will never buy that curved nib from Montblanc because I don't like to write any way else with a pen than how I write with it. And that's sort of letting it write under its own weight, sort of mildly cradled, my first finger, sometimes my thumbs above, but steering the pen along at this angle. And if I were to write with the Montblanc curved nib 149 like this, my line would be like 6 millimeters wide. And then it would occasionally trail off into a little tail. It'd probably be really cool for signing my name if I had a lot of space. But anything else, I think it would be utterly useless. I don't do signs and things. I don't do art works. So for me personally, I think it would be useless. Now, I watched a YouTuber I really enjoy, and I'm going to forget his name. I believe it's Stilo Corsani, and he has a pen shop, I think in Roma, and he showed recently the curved nib, and he was writing with. He has beautiful handwriting. It's where I learned about Scribo Rosso Chianti from him. So I like his channel because you're just in his pen shop and he just shows a pen and has great handwriting. And he's short, very short videos, unlike mine. Mine are epic. But he shows that if you write straight up and down, it's a medium line. And I could be wrong. Maybe that's the fine. Maybe medium's like this and the calligraphy's like that. And then you flip it over for extra fine. I'm not doing any of that. I'm not a person who writes upside down with a nib. I don't enjoy any of that. Now, Simon Krupa, hello Simon, asked an interesting question. I wonder what the target audience for a pen like that is. I think the target audience is the market, and maybe for people like us to talk about it. I think it's a way for Montblanc to say, this is what we can do. It's sort of like, and I make these analogies all the time, but Rolex recently came out with a watch that can go to the bottom of the Mariana Trench. It looks like a Submariner on steroids. It's like this thick. It's gigantic. It's ridiculous. And you ask yourself, who would wear a watch like that? Maybe Andre the Giant might. But it's not really made to be sold to people who are going to wear it. It's made to be sold to people who want to own it, want to brag about it, want to collect it. And it's made to show that Rolex can do it. They're showing that they can. And I think a lot of cutting edge technologies are that way. So Mummy Brown, of course, brings up artists. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, I don't mean in any way to demean the pen or anything. Like, it's cool. If Montblanc wants to send me one, I would love to do a video review on it for them. That would be my pleasure. It's just not something I would use because I would want to journal with it, and I would probably get about 4 sentences on a page with that amazingly large nib. But I am impressed that they can do it and that they are doing it, because I think innovation is important for anything to evolve, and our hobby's no different. These items aren't stuck in the past. They're part of our lives going forward. So I like that there's brands like Pinator and Visconti and things doing innovative things. And it's nice to see Montblanc also doing the same. So pretty exciting, I think. Pretty exciting times. What are they going to do next? Pretty interesting. Let me see. Jonathan Schuster says, some of these brands need kind of reestablish themselves as relevant in their space for their technical craftsmanship. Exactly. Very well put. And I think that's exactly what they're doing. So pretty neat. Pretty cool. Claudia Garcia brings up that there's a lot of people who draw with fountain pens. Very true. Very, very true. I like to draw. I don't draw as much as I used to. And it's something I would like to relearn. And fountain pens are smooth and they have that uninterrupted line. So I could see how it'd be very enjoyable. So absolutely. So got an interesting video coming out on Friday. It's a pretty straightforward review of the Conway Stewart Churchill pen. So you may have seen the one from a few months back that had a lot on Winston Churchill. Well, this is more of a straightforward review on the pen by itself. So I hope you enjoy that. It was recorded back in December, so it's kind of a late post, but it's really good. It's really interesting. It's very comprehensive. So I think you'll like it. That comes out on Friday. And if you haven't seen my How to Write a Love Letter video, which is one of my favorites, I have a lot of affection for that. It's still out there. It was posted last Friday. I'd appreciate you guys if you could give it some love. That would be fantastic because I think it's an interesting video with a lot of appeal. And then next week is the journaling video on Walden Pond, where I filmed it and I even journal in Thoreau's cabin, or the reconstruction of Thoreau's cabin. So I think that would be very cool. So there's a lot of good stuff coming up on the channel. We're going to keep doing lives. We did one for our European friends a few weeks back. I'm going to try to do that again. We're going to do some more interviews. I'm trying to get some people on the channel. So if you know someone who you think would be good and you could make an introduction, I'd be definitely up for that. Art Mingle said, yes, thank you. Love the love letter video. Thanks so much. I really appreciate it. I generally find that the ones I really like tend to be the least popular, but I think it's good to push boundaries and mix things up. I don't want this channel to get boring for you guys. So I think you'll see a lot of different variety in what's coming up. John Manuel is looking forward to the Conway Stewart video. I think you'll enjoy that. It's coming out Friday at noon. Friday at noon is my new release day. I found that more people are around then. So happy to be there. So a lot of really interesting things, more lives, more interviews. There's a channel on YouTube I like called Amusing Ada. And she does a brilliant job of storytelling. She did a bit on Proust that was absolutely brilliant. And I really enjoyed it. So I think you guys might like that too. I would like to interview her and kind of get into her method of editing and telling a good solid story. So I'm looking for more people like that too, just to help keep you guys inspired. Different voices in expressing themselves and telling their stories. So hopefully I can put that together with her soon. So very good. Oh, Jan Manuel digs all my videos. Thank you. I appreciate that. I cringe at some of the early ones sometimes. The early videos of this channel, when I was just trying to find my voice, are a bit different. So I shouldn't. I mean, I should just enjoy the evolution, but it's just interesting to see the evolution, if you will. Judy Anderson says, the love letter video was amazing and helpful. Thanks so much. I'm glad you like it. Thank you. Ooh, Katie likes the Bennu Fairy video. Thanks so much. Ooh, wow, I just blew that up huge. I didn't know I could do that. Thanks so much, because I didn't feel like that one reached a lot of people, so it's nice to hear that you enjoyed it, because that one was so much fun to make. It was such a magical night that we filmed, and to use that as B-roll with the Bennu review was so fun and so different. So I appreciate that. Rave Sob says, I hope more video about Gin House fountain pens. I don't know if you were here earlier, but I just got this in the mail today. So this is another X159. Someone in the comments, and I'm sorry I forgot who, someone in the comments mentioned that I may have got a bad one, which I mentioned myself, and that I should try again. So I did. I bought another one. So we shall see how it does. Also, I'd like to mention that James Fahey, one of the members of this channel, inspired me to do the Walden Pond video. He was like, dude, you live by Walden Pond. Go shoot there. I was like, you know what? That's a good idea. Plus, I thought it would be fun for my daughter to run around like a maniac. You'll see some of that in the B-roll too. So super, super fun stuff. So you guys will see the Walden Pond one a week from Friday. So I'm glad you guys are digging the love letter video. I've had a lot of fun doing that. That had a lot of the same B-roll, if you guys noticed, as the cursive video. So that is always fun. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're just about at that hour mark. I'm going to try to be more disciplined. I know a lot of you asked me to keep it to an hour and less. So I am trying, but I could speak all night with all you lovely people. By the way, feel free to follow me on Instagram if you'd like. I do a lot of posts over there. And it's also a nice way to keep in touch with me. So that is my same name, Hemingway Jones, with an underscore. So Hemingway_Jones. And Hemingway Jones is me too, but it's my photography. So, that's a whole different thing. So, Allie J just reread Walden. I received a package today, Allie. I'm not sure. That might be from you for the pen pal thing. For the letter exchange for the pen pals. So that's the next thing I'm going to do. I got 2 letters from my pen pals. So I'm super excited. One is like a whitish package that's rather large. It's super exciting and super interesting. So I hope that is the case. We are doing pen pals for members, for Cognoscenti and Illuminati members. So if you'd like to be involved in that, then please sign up. Oh, okay. It's not yours. All right. Well, it's someone else's, Allie. That's even more exciting. So that means I have yours to look forward to. So thank you very much. I wonder what it is then. I have no idea. See, it's so exciting. That's what makes pen pals so fun. You just don't know until you look at it. So thank you so much. Art Mingle says, thank you so much for your inspiration, unconditional sharing. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. I really do. Allie has to get to the post office. Well, okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm rambling now, and I try to say goodbye before I start rambling. But we will be together soon, further up the road, and Friday a new video, and I'll do another live soon. So always Tuesday nights at 8. Thanks a lot, guys, for everything, and thank you, members. So we'll all talk soon. Everyone, take care. Bye-bye.